Hey everybody, how's it going? It's LTM here. I'm at the Cinemark in Oak Ridge, and I'm about to go and watch Lisa Frankenstein. So I have been thinking about going to this movie at first. I didn't feel like this movie didn't look all that great to me with the trailers, honestly. But what really caught my attention was the director of Zelda Williams. I forgot her first name. It's the daughter of Robin Williams. She was Robin Williams. For those who don't know, Robin Williams was a famous actor known for a lot of kids movies from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. He was in the movie Dead Poet Society. He was in Good Morning Vietnam. He's in a lot of comedies. And Robin Williams passed away in 2014. So Robin Williams had a daughter named Zelda Williams, I think is what her name is. I could be wrong, but that's the director's name and who she is. So going into this movie, I'm like, okay, so maybe we'll get like a dark comedy vibe to it, maybe bring something back. But judging by the trailer, it looked like it was going to be like a Edward Scissorhands knockoff or like a Young Frankenstein sort of movie where it's like a parody of horror films. So that's what got my attention. So, but I also forgot that this is also one of the writers who worked on Jennifer's Body and Juno. So there's some good talent in this movie. So I'll give you all my thoughts when I come back, and I'll see you later. Hey guys, I'm back. I just got out of Lisa Frankenstein. So as I said in the beginning of this review, I wasn't really that looking forward to this movie, to be honest. It didn't look that great. But going into it with low expectations, I surprisingly enjoyed this movie. It's not great. I do have problems with it. We're gonna get to those in about a minute or two, but I enjoyed the film as in a goofy, cheesy sort of way. This is one of those movies you have to be really prepared when going to see this, because the thing about Lisa Frankenstein is that it's a dark romantic comedy that's sort of like trying to be a homage to movies like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Young Frankenstein, Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, Heathers, maybe Weird Science. Those were the vibes I was getting from this movie. But in a different point of view. It had its own different coat of paint to it. So Lisa is a girl. She's a teenage girl. Her mother was killed by a serial killer, and everybody thinks she's crazy. That is until one day lightning strikes. I guess she might made a wish or something, and lightning strikes, and then this boy or somebody that she that she spends time in a grave in comes back to life, and they start falling in love, while also dealing with the fact that she accidentally killed her new mother, or basically she basically kills her new the Frankenstein, or the boyfriend. I forgot his name. He ends up murdering this girl named Taffy's mom, and ends up getting in trouble. And now most of the film is just most of them is just them bonding and learning about love and things like that. The strength of this movie came from the comedy. Honestly, now there wasn't that many people in there when I went and saw this film, but I was laughing quite a few times in this movie, which is saying for a dark comedy, romantic comedy. The movie's pretty funny. Not all the jokes land, but there's a lot of funny moments in this movie. I laughed quite a bit here. The story doesn't really grab me that much. I didn't find Lisa as a very interesting character. She wasn't unlikable per se. It's just I've seen this character trope and cliche so many times. The girl outcast who's gothy and is basically an outcast and everything like that. And I've seen this so many times before. But to be fair, the performances are pretty well done for the most part. The actress that plays Lisa is pretty good. The acting from everybody else is pretty good. Even the guy who plays that Frankenstein or that boyfriend or whatever, it's pretty good. The kills are pretty good for a dark comedy. I think this is one of the few movies that actually does dark comedy right. What else can I add to this? There are some good effects and then some decent. I really like some of the set designs. A lot of it remind me a lot of Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice it's almost like a Tim Burton movie where the sets look cheap when you look at them, but when you look at them in a different point of view, they actually look pretty nice. But this was set during the 1980s, so I can kind of get that. But I do get that Tim Burton vibe to it. My only two problems is that, of course, it's the story and the main character. But the other thing that bothered me was the tone. It's trying to balance both being, like I said, this is a dark comedy, so I can kind of understand that. It's trying to balance, now the horror stuff is fine, but the stuff where it's trying to balance both the comedy and the drama, especially the stuff near the end, it just didn't really sit with me that well. I wasn't feeling underwhelmed or anything, it just felt off, felt out of place. But those are my only few complaints, honestly, and overall, Lisa Frankenstein was fine. It's like a modern day Tim Burton movie. It's like someone took a couple Tim Burton movies, maybe add in something like Heathers or Young Frankenstein in there, and it just made a whole movie around, put it all in a blend, just made a movie loosely based on that. I did hear that it was loosely based on a novel that I forgot the name of while I was sitting in there watching this, but I think it says it during the end credits, but I forgot what the name of the novel was. But as it stands, I enjoyed this movie fine, and I guess the best recommendation for this is that if you have a really dark sense of humor, or if you just want to if you really want a good date night movie, I recommend checking this out. If you don't like this initial idea, or you're not a fan of those old 1980s gothy dark comedies, it's likely you're not going to get into this at all. But if you're curious, it's out in theaters right now, so I guess just go take it for what it's worth. Overall score, I give it a 7 out of 10. It's not a great movie, and it does have its problems, but it was at least different. I can at least give it that. And I think there's a lot more to this movie than what people are making out to be right now. Alright guys, so that's Lisa Frankenstein. What is your favorite dark comedy? Please subscribe, comment below, let me know. This is L Team signing out, and I'll see you guys next time.